A lethal street fight between two of the biggest rival motorcycle gangs broke out on the 14th of May 2022, which was enough to stir up the entire American domain. Was this colossal clash just a one-off event? Of course not. Rather, this clashing history is more saturated than the bloodshed on the streets of their last encounter. Let's connect the dots leading to this deadly confrontation, shall we? By the end of this video, we will reveal the entire history of crazy retaliations, destructions, and attacks between the Hell Angels and Pagans which have been prevailing over several decades. Get ready for some death, carnage, and bloodshed segments of the most famous motorcycle hooligans. The evening of a pleasant Saturday, May 14, 2022, turned out fatal for the bikers community of America. This brutal showdown left casualties on both sides and streets saturated with bits of injured bikers all around. The Hell Angels left no stone unturned in fueling the ancient undisputed differences with their adversaries, the Pagans. It was not an impulsive attack, but rather a retaliation. A retaliation to what exactly? Let us begin by just saying that the Cape Cod encounter was a tiny chapter of the whole burn book. Prince George's County, Maryland gave birth to the Pagan Motorcycle Club in 1959. The veterans of this prolonged game of superiority. By the 1970s, the Pagans had held control over the entirety of northeastern America, with the help of some strong networks. To be specific, it was a result of befriending the Blood Street gangs, the Philadelphia Mob, and Latin Kings. The initially formed 13-member group soon turned into a huge set of criminals, who were also associated with the Mexican drug cartel. Their dominance soon dwindled, once the FBI arrested and imprisoned over 70 members of the Pagans involved in the drug dealerships. So what was next? Hell's Angels seized this opportunity right away. Northeastern America, mainly Pennsylvania, was their point of focus. The uncrowned motorcycle king of the North was about to be dethroned, and a series of battles, retaliations, and open threats were about to begin. The act of chasing and being chased after launched shortly after the Angels established descent control over West Philadelphia. They plotted a daytime assassination against the Pagan leader, Steve Mondevergen. To everyone's surprise, Mondevergen survived even after being shot 9 times in close contact. After the Angels' plan failed miserably, they turned their charges towards Mondevergen's loyal right hand, Thomas Thinkerwood. Contrary to their prior encounter, this time the Angels offered Thinkerwood a deal, insisting him to join their party instead. Wouldn't it be a direct violation of Pagans' fidelity? Well, it did not seem to bother Thomas much. In 2002, he, along with several other members, left Pagans and joined Angels chapter in West Philadelphia. The attack on Steve Mondevergen was unforgettable by the Pagans, fueled by their recent betrayal. They had to settle accounts. This event was like a flicker to the flame. What was about to follow was a never-ending series of hooligan bruisers. The following events included the intrusion of the Pagans into Vanderbilt Hall in Plainview, New York. It was on February 23, 2002, during a Hellraiser convention organized by Angels. At about 4 p.m., the Pagans rained on the Hell Angels parade and caused a panic stampede among the audience. Soon a huge brawl broke out with both of the motorcycle parties losing it. They even went as far as stabbing and shooting each other amidst the chaos. The cops arrived and arrested at least 73 of the notorious bikers. This was a signal from the Pagans' end that they weren't to be rolled over, declaring the battle of supremacy. Until they arrived on their next target, their former traitor Thomas. On January 21, 2005, the Philadelphian president of the Angels chapter, Thomas Thinkerwood, was shot dead while driving on the highway. The Pagans did not stop there. They wanted to retrieve their lost glory in the northern region, which wasn't possible due to Canadian conflicts. Their northern occupancy dreams were later accomplished when Hythe Conan Richter was chosen as their national president in 2015. This man had already served 14 years in prison for a murder conspiracy, but was now out and about. Richter launched the Blue Wave mission, which directed Pagans full control over northeastern America, and even pledged the right to shoot any other group who tried to overlap Pagans' occupied areas. Soon they established 30 new chapters in Western America, but knew that the Angels would retaliate sooner or later. The Cold War between the two titans was reignited. On April 24, 2018, Angels associate Jeffrey Shank was brutally attacked and murdered at a gas station in New Jersey. Instigating the killers, the Angels opened a new clubhouse at the Bronx, an area solely occupied by the Pagans. The Pagans retaliated and left Angels' Bronx building wounded. As a result, in 2020, Pagans national president Francisco Rosado was silently shot by a few masked bikers. What else? Pagans declared war. The final call for revenge arrived when the Pagans established a new chapter in Fall River in April 2022. Fall River had always been historically ruled over by the Angels. On May 14th, 100s of Angels bikers decided to intimidate the Pagans by flexing their bikes in huge strength. But few members had minds of their own and carried pistol and other weapons to straightaway attack the Pagans present inside their Fall River clubhouse. Although the Pagans were only 7 in number, they stood their ground. Soon a fight broke out, which lasted for a few minutes, leaving behind the blood-saturated roads and fragmented bikers. Right after the violent incident, the FBI shut down Angels Fall River Clubhouse and raided every other Angels chapter across the nation. The Cape Cod massacre was the last encounter of their enmity. We are yet to see if this perpetual cycle of bloodshed fights is over, or if Pagans' response is waiting. What do you think?